Hi, recording in progress. We're on.
Yeah, we are live.
Yeah.
Welcome to Freedom Friday, and I am graced by the presence of Susan Cotter yet again. We're going to be diving into a different topic today, which is so timely because on February 1st, on Tuesday, we welcome the Lunar New Year. And for those of you who are not familiar with the Lunar New Year, we welcome a new animal energy. And this follows the Chinese calendar, the Chinese Zodiac. There are 12 animals that the ancient Taoist masters aligned into the Zodiac. And that's just one of the many, many, many calendars and ways of connecting with animal spirits that is present on this planet to us. And with the Chinese Zodiac, there, for myself, for those of you that have been tuning into some of the things I've been speaking about, there's just so much mirrored and reflected, and it helps us to be able to process what's happening, what might happen, and then what does happen. Especially as I look backwards in time, having the awareness, in 2020. 2019, it was right before the shift in the Lunar New Year. A mouse died in my closet. And it was I'm like, let's find this thing. It's like, in my closet, in my office, of all the places a mouse could have died, in this house or in another, in my office closet, in the walls. And so we could never find the little body, and it smelled, and we were entering the year of the mouse, the year of the rat. And I was like, wow, thinking about everything that was about to transpire. So we had the mouse, and then you guys have talked, you've heard me talk about the mighty ox and all of that strength and determination. And now we've moved into the year of the tiger. And I just the tigers are everywhere. You may not have noticed, but he has very proudly taken his claim everywhere in my office. And it's brought this whole other, very patient. It's an energy to me, I feel it ever present, and accessible, but knowing that there's a right time and a right place where we can tap into that to take some really powerful action. So anyway, I share those little tidbits of how I download to segue into what brings Susan here, because Susan is a gifted shaman. So I brought her to just give her reflection and kind of expand our perspective of how we connect with animal spirit energy.
Well, I love that you spoke of the mouse, the rat, and the
all
ox.
Gifted teachers. I'm not judging.
Right.
I am super grateful for all of them.
Absolutely. Because the mouse and the rat, if you think of the rat, it survived and survive, its survival skills, its ability to swim, its ability to get food, its ability to go into details that we don't even sometimes think about. We don't even know that we need that particular detail. They're microscopic, they can just move things that we didn't even know and get into things.
Yeah.
That we're like, I know it's secure now. And and that ox, just even if you didn't know anything at all, you would know that you would want to get out of the way if an ox were headed your way.
Oh yeah. Think about the running of the bulls,
strength,
the tauros.
Right. And then of course the lion and all that we know about that. And the invitation, of course, is of course, you can do it through oracle cards. You can do it through books. The invitation, though, is to sit with an image as if you're looking in the eyes of that little mouse or even the rat, the oxen, the tiger. What is that relationship with you? Before we get started, I'm going to read just if this is Animal Speak, Ted Andrews, who is no longer on the planet, but definitely through all the animals, I'm sure. This is from a quote or a poem, maybe from Chief Dan George, not a poem. If you talk to the animals, they will talk with you. And you will know each other. If you do not talk to them, you will not know them. And what you do not know, you will fear. What one fears, one destroys.
I'm so glad you shared that, because a piece that I had been thinking of that I didn't share. So I have this beautiful window to the world. And through that window, I get the honor and the privilege of witnessing, as we have little birdies that are flying up, lots of different elements of nature. And it really is no accident. The things, who comes to visit me, and the timing, like who might be speaking with me, how the animal shows up, which ones show up and how they show up.
Yes.
So all different, I've seen fox and coyotes in the plain, middle of the day. I've had birds ram multiple times into the windows with somebody who I'm like, I know they need a big, like, boop, boop. So yes, they are speaking to us all the time. And I know, because you're experiencing it too. So please, that's beautiful. Thank you so much for that intro.
I especially like the last line, what one fears, one destroys. And so again, I can say over and over while we're talking about animal totems, and they show up in your heart space, and you might first think that they're in your vision, and maybe you'll see something or feel something inside of you, like, I'm really lonely. And then all of a sudden you see a bear with two cubs, and you may not fully understand, why am I seeing a bear with two cubs? And just start asking yourself, what would that mean to me? And do I need to reach out to family? Am I lonely because I've got family, but I'm not in that hibernation mode to really slow down enough? Whatever it could be, there are so many different kinds of hawks. Some aren't much bigger than a rat, and most people have the thought that when they see a hawk, it's that red-tailed hawk that's pretty hard to miss. And they think that, oh, this is the one. The invitation is to talk to them, just like Chief Dan says, just talk to them. As strange as that might sound, the truth is we all talk to ourselves.
True.
And we'll say, I know this is going to sound weird, but I talk to myself. But it isn't so weird as what we do. We even say, gosh, I feel sick. Who are we talking to? So sometimes we can even invite, I call it all medicine. The truth is, like, what's the medicine? For me, medicine means what's going to be the hopefully, mindfully, the subtle cure, the subtle vibrations of what's going to come in. The mouse dying and not being able to find it, but smelling it. We might then just go, what else is stinky in my life that I can't see? Even though I smell it, I've got a great nose, I've got all the experts over, they can't find it. We've put holes in the walls. I'm not saying that's what you did. I'm just saying that's what we sometimes do. And so what are the messages that we don't sometimes want to hear? We just want the message from the hawk. And just like you said, they're all good.
Yeah.
You might do a full, and the other reason I am recommending or suggesting or invitation to this book, Animal Speak, is because there's a full accounting of how do I find my animal totem? How do I know what is my spiritual animal? And it's less about for show. It's more about how it feels inside and what animal is coming to you in the right now moment. You may think that you have just this one animal totem, but honestly, like all of life, and I love that the Chinese, where we have all that we recognize the years of all of these different, and I know I'm fire rooster, but there are other roosters, So in all of that, there's so many ways in which you can discover it. What are some of your thoughts or
I love that you said that, because I think sometimes when we hear the word like totem, and even when I think of what a shaman might do and guide you to, it's like, okay, well, when I find this animal, when this animal comes to me, then it's the one and it's the only, and this is like my spirit guide till the ends of the earth, because that isn't my experience.
Right.
I haven't really talked about that before, but my experience is that it's changing moment to moment to moment to moment.
Absolutely. It's like a teacher.
Yes.
You don't get a kindergarten teacher and expect them to go all the way through graduate school. And, you know, gosh, I like this. I like the saying, the rain falls on the just and the unjust. Like we all experience difficulties. We experience love. We experience every single emotion. It's what can bring that experience into some clarity, into some balance.
Mm-hmm.
And if the medicine is like, I just saw this really big female cardinal, and all the other birds left as soon as the female cardinal set on these little 8 or 10 posts out here, because she commanded, I'm bigger than you. And so she had no problem like having like, get out of my way. And sometimes that's the energy we need. And it isn't about get out of my way, other people. It's get out of my way, fear. It's get out of my way, doubt. It's who do you think you are to try and control what I know, but it isn't about another person. It isn't about, I need to step over you. I'm so sorry. It's just claiming the clarity that's rightfully yours. And I find that, and as soon as she left, all of the others, you know, started coming back really quickly and lovingly. And she wasn't there to scare them. She was just there, and there she is again, to claim her truth and remind me maybe, hey, you've got something in you that's pretty big, and it's time you allow others to see it. They adjust to it. They come around in it, in all of those ways. Yeah.
So kind of the piece that I'm hearing that gets reflected through something I commonly talk about with other people here is the idea that what we're seeing outside of us is offering us a mirror of ourselves.
Yeah.
Whether we're talking about other people and relationships, which I've spoken about a lot, whether we're talking about the physical experiences we're happening within our body, whether we're talking about the animals and how they're showing up. Always there as a reflection and as a guide supporting you. So getting really curious, and again, just continuing to open your conscious awareness that this is happening.
Yeah.
And what I like about this book, and this is what I would recommend, whether it's this book or another book, is like, or oracle cards,
right?
That they are just like, if you know, the things I speak about here and looking at 5-element consciousness, and even the fact that this is like wellness lies within. And one of the things I talk about is the healer lies within. When you have these guides, when you have these interpretations, they are meant to be used in such a way where it's like, okay, this is the be all end all, and I need to read every word that's here, and this is what applies, and I need to like analyze this. It's meant to support you in going deeper into the truth, because just like what Susan unfolded with such beautiful clarity, that came from you, you know, being in practice of such an open, fluid consciousness between yourself and just the signs that you're seeing.
Yes.
So it's just practicing that and opening to that and using the tools lovingly and lightly in a way to be able to support building your own connection and relationship.
And if you're really feel like, gosh, this is my first introduction, and we're saying, go talk to the animals. Go back to your own memory when you maybe first learned your ABCs, or your first kiss, or your first hug with your child, and go back to those memories that are more than just, oh, this happened on April 12th. You know, that's when my first baby was born, or whatever that is. Go back to those moments of feeling the sensation that don't actually have words. And when you allow that heart opening, or that subtle vibration to move towards, the reason I said it is because I felt like that particular cardinal was looking right at me and going, what are you waiting for? Like, it didn't threaten the other ones. It just landed, and the other ones just moved to adjust to the bigness of it, because it was maybe a little bit too big for the perch, suggesting that this particular place was designed for those that were smaller. It, again, not making the smaller ones right or the bigger ones wrong. Just simply the energy is what spoke to me. And noticing that I cannot see with my eye all the things that are happening on a blade of grass. And to think that, you know, and I mean, we've all seen it, how colonies of ants.
Oh, it's so funny you said that.
Right?
Yeah.
And not funny because she knows that.
No,
we're
no,
connected.
yeah, no,
I
no,
mean,
yeah,
no,
no,
but,
go, no,
but it's that kind of thing where Melissa and I are so connected that we could teach a whole class and just allow the flow of energy to energy dance.
I think I even posted a video of the ants here. It was Christmas and I was in Mexico, and there's like thatched roofs. And so sometimes, not all the time, which was curious, the ants would come, and it was right by the toilets. I was like sitting there and I'm like, wow. And I just noticed a lot of things. Like there were different sizes. They were in this line, and every time they passed each other, yeah, put your hand up. They went like this. And I saw it happen a few times. I know, right? I saw it happen a few times, and I'm like, that's got to be like they were bumping into each other. And then I'm like, oh my God, every single time. And it'd be like this, like when they were, and I have the video, I'll have to put it into here. Like it would be like this when one was going up and was going down. I'm like, they're communicating.
Yes.
They're sharing information. Like, holy cow.
What I have to say is that while you can't feel the energy that was, maybe you can't, while you can't see the energy of when you did this, put your hand up, and it was that, I felt the energy of the ant in which she was speaking of. So that energy of we're connected. This is where I got, you might have to go a little bit further, or maybe don't go it, like, who knows the language in which they were speaking. Just simply the sheer excitement or noticing that was coming from Melissa, like not really electrified me, but kind of, that I could feel that current come to me, is when you get more skilled, when you become more skilled at the vibrations of what we think is small, like what's an ant, somebody might say, it's this big. And then of course, if you're in some communities, in some countries, they might say it's your uncle, you know. Right? So be mindful. And again, colonies of ants, they always have not always, most of the times they have some sort of an escape route. You know, if they get trampled on, they've got another way out. So it's suggestive then, again, if we're doing mirror, and really, when I hear mirror, it's yes, it's reflective. And it's also, if there's a deeper word for reflective, that contemplation, like somebody's given me this gift of something to feel or look at or notice without bringing judgment. Yeah. Because sometimes we don't want to admit that, what's the pattern that I'm trying to get out of? Hello, ant, you know, what's the pattern that it keeps crashing me and crashing me and crashing me? Not the ant, but the circumstances and then we become aware that, first of all, just aware of it. And then taking that breath and just going, thank you, ant. I hear you. And now can I have the medicine that you so richly give to your entire colony? Here's the way out. What's that medicine look like? You rarely see a lone ant trying to struggle the way through it. And so it might be, maybe I need to reach out to a friend, to a therapist, to a coach, to a teacher, to a doctor to the person looking back at me in the mirror. Those, so nothing is ever too small, and no animal totem is more grand, like some, I want the wolf.
Yeah.
But there's also rarely a lone wolf. I want the elephant, the size, and somebody comes home and I got, well, a praying mantis, like, oh, great. The praying man, so sometimes people are disappointed or they have a different kind of like thought. And the invitation, of course, is to ask yourself, am I afraid of getting something that society has said? This is higher than this. Maybe the buffalo might be considered a really high one. And therefore I should be that. And then all that keeps coming around you are things that are below your knees. Again, to just like, to trip us into balance.
Wow.
It's the best way I know to say it. Or actually, I don't even know that I know to say it. It's just what comes to me in the right now moment.
Another piece that was coming to me, all the time that we've been speaking, is that if you think back, a lot of the things that I teach people now, at one time they were, well, natural and innate. And we shut them down for various different reasons, some of us more than others, especially animals speak. I think all of us. I mean, think about why do children love to be surrounded by stuffed animals? I mean, yeah, they're snuggly, but there's something else there.
Yes.
And, I mean, I can recall waiting for the school bus and talking to the chickadees, like, just feeling like I'm not
the petting zoos.
Yeah, right. I mean, the zoo and the petting zoo and all the things that we get so enamored of as children. There's something there. And so that's another piece to kind of allow yourself to recollect, because that's a gift that's within you. And even though you may not have been practicing it, it's still there. So recalling, oh, I remember this time, whether it's with one of your domesticated pets or it's something in nature that you made a connection, reawakening that connection and into this right now moment is so powerful.
That's such a good point. First of all, just knowing that inherently it's in us. Inherently this is in us. And animals know that. They will lead us out of dangerous situations. We've all heard the stories of where dolphins have led at, like, surrounded because there's a shark ahead, the diver. We've heard of all these sorts of like wolves in the woods with the lost child, and so we've heard those just inherently true to our bone stories. And I like what you just said, and that was about being domesticated. If you have ever traveled to a foreign country where animals are not all domesticated, and I mean, they scratch for a living. I mean, chickens scratch for a living, where nobody's necessarily out there feeding them, and cats and dogs run everywhere because they don't have some of the affordable things, certainly, that we have in our culture. And such teachers, because they might have been hungry and they might tip over your trash to eat, but they're not going to devour you to get the food.
You're right. We were in Mexico together recently, and it was interesting to me to witness the dogs who had collars and those that did not. And it wasn't necessarily a correlation between who was friendlier. In fact, I don't know if you heard the owner of our retreat talk about that when their dog was on a leash, she was more aggressive,
of course,
than when she was off the leash.
Yes.
I carried her.
And the dog was tongue hanging out.
Hysterical.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful, actually.
No leash on her then, but very interesting.
And that's again, another really, how are we with leashes on? With, and what does that invisible leash of society and cultures and our own beliefs done for us? why do we need boundaries? Isn't that elation itself? And I'm not saying we don't, I understand what a healthy boundary is. I am not saying that. I'm just saying that if we can allow that ability to encompass true freedom and that memory that is inherently ours, we're connected. So we could look up perhaps and see even vultures. And it's said scientifically that we wouldn't even survive without vultures because they eat things that are decaying. And sometimes we hold on to things that are decaying, which become a leash, which become this has now shortened my ability to be mobile because I'm carrying around with me that which is decaying, whether it's a relationship, a plant, like, please come back to life, please, this I got from my son's blah, blah, or my, all of those things. So, and yeah.
This was amazing. I feel like we could go on and on, but I certainly hope you are inspired to look out your window and really start to tune in to all those messages that are out there. Any other final tips or recommendations to anyone who's starting to open up to building this relationship and connection?
Always trust yourself.
Yeah.
You know more than you think you know. We hear that a lot when a person's working out and their coach is going, you're stronger than you think you are. They're right. Trust your heart, trust the truth of you, and trust what you're hearing.
Yeah.
It's really there. It's really there. And the animals, just by trying, they hear you, they see you, they'll show up. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And I when you said that, I was just thinking, like, I do notice, like, the more that I tune in, the more that I'm noticing. I mean, that's true for everything. So yeah, you will be rewarded. Thank you, everybody, and have an awesome weekend.
Enjoy. Bye.
Bye.